What'd you bring? Hi flower friends, it's Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, and yesterday I posted a seedling room tour downstairs in the grow room, but what I didn't show you is everything that I have up on the porch, because a lot of the stuff I had just put out here to harden over the past couple of weeks to free up some room on my grow shelf. So I have out here, quickly, I have, oh see it's so bright, but I have a pool toy that blew over here in a windy day the other day. It was on the other side of the porch. So I have all of those bare roots that I opened in a video the other day. They're on the porch except for the ones that I've planted. I have 3 trays of sweet peas. I have 2 things of stock, and then I have a whole bunch of anemone and ranunculus left to put into the ground. So right now, today, I am going to be showing you a fast motion video of me planting the rest of the ranunculus. I have planting echinacea. I've got white swan echinacea, and I have double-decker echinacea. I put that into the ground, and I also show you kind of you know, turn trash into treasure way to label your plants if you need tall labels in your fields or your gardens, just so you know what's what, because you know we all have a struggle with labeling sometimes. So the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that later on in this video I make the first harvest of the season. So I'm filming this after I shot that portion. So I was in the middle of planting the ranunculus and I got up, I was walking around, and I noticed some activity in the daffodil field. She is cracking along with about 40 of her friends, and I'm gonna have a couple dozen. I mean, definitely a couple dozen. It's almost time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm back over here where I planted the gooseneck loose strife the other day, like yesterday. It was yesterday. And well, in this video it might be 2 or 3 days, I don't even know. So I planted the gooseneck here, and then I had a good 20-foot section at least that was empty after I finished with the gooseneck. So I decided to go ahead and yawn a couple times, and then I want to put my echinacea here. So I'm going to start with the white swan and see how far apart this gets me. Now I'm going to stagger these about 1 foot apart. The internet says 1 to 3 feet, but a lot of other websites just say 12 inches. So I'll put the white swan here, and I also have 25 of the double deckers. So that's exciting. I'll put them all in. Sitting down a lot today. Okay, so my face is filthy. So I always have a hard time labeling. Labels that are large and you can see, those are super expensive. So I was talking the other day and I said, you know what? Because I ran out of those little 4-inch plastic labels for my seedling sale. I said, they're basically the same things as blinds, right? As mini blinds. And one of our blinds in the kitchen is broken. So I took it off the wall and I cut it in half, and now I just planted the double decker, and I'm gonna plant the white swan, and these are gonna be my plant labels. I used the garden marker. It's waterproof on plastic. These are plastic. It was free. And then I'm looking it up and turns out other people have done this too. Just take down an old pair of mini blinds that you're not using or that they're broken and they're kind of dangling halfway. Cut it down, use it in the garden. There is dirt in the crevice of my soul and every fine line and wrinkle on my face. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 left. So 40 fit into that spot, and I think maybe I'll run a couple over to my neighbor's house and plant some for them. And then I'll probably run some to my mom's house and then probably my grandma's house. So I'll save those for the cut flower plantings that I plan on planting, the plants that I plan on planting in the planting place. That's what I'll save it for. Anyway, all right. I'm not even gonna wash up. She knows how I am. I'm just gonna run next door and put a couple in the ground for her. So it's the next morning and not to my surprise, because this is what happens with daffodils, I have dozens of daffodils ready to be pulled. Now I started out cutting these and then I realized that if you go down deep, you can pull them and get a longer stem. So what I have here is about 1.5 inches of, well, this is an old pool container we put in a pool a couple of years ago, and the chemicals that we use for our saltwater pool come in these little tubbies, and I'm actually friends with the owner of the company, so they've saved me some of these pool buckets. I find them to be the perfect size for harvesting daffodils because sometimes the stems are not that long on daffodils. So what I have in here is about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of room temperature water with chrysal flower food in it. I harvest daffodils straight into some flower food. So I'm so excited. I've been waiting. It's been what, 6 months? 6 months. So this is my first harvest of 2021. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one right here because she's the one that's most open. So you could see how much further down I went, a good 1.5 inches if I pulled the stem. See what I mean by it being the perfect bucket size? And some of them will be shorter than that, but this is what I have to work with. Now I harvest daffodils when they're at gooseneck stage. That one's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So basically gooseneck stage is when they kind of start to hang their heads like a goose, and they also crack. So this is different though than double daffodils. Double daffodils have to be a little bit more open, typically. I thought only the yellow ones were opening, but I have some white ones in here that are ready to go. So this, actually the tag is right here. I don't know how this survived. It was not meant to be here. It's literally from when I planted them 2 years ago. This is a daffodil mix from Edney Glockner. So this entire thing was just a mix. So I don't know the exact varieties of these, but I do know the exact varieties of everything else. But these, I mean, I'm sure I could, oh, I want to pick it. This one I'm not gonna pick, this one I am. This one's a little bit too straight up and down. This one is more like a goose, so I'm gonna pick this one. Normally I would be going a little bit faster than this, but I'm talking to you guys, so I'm going slow. Okay, so this one's a little too straight up. This one's goosey. Loosey goosey. Oh, there's a goose. There's two. They heard me talking about them. That's the tall one, woohoo. I'm gonna get to work and pull these. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 19 stems. 19 stems. There are a lot more that are going to be ready over the next few days. So What am I gonna do with these? Okay, so I could post a photo on the interwebs and say the first bouquet of Flower Hill Farm for 2021, who wants it? I could reach out to my CSA members and say, here's what I have, anybody interested? I have a CSA that starts first blooms, and but what I decided to do is give them to my grandmother. So I'm gonna drop them off to my grandmother's house. The puppies have a vet appointment and I have to drive by her house, so I'm going to give them to grandma. I would say within the next week I can reach out to the CSA customers and say I'll have a bouquet available. And see, this is the problem, because I have so many photographers wanting to come here in the spring and take pretty pictures on the farm, and the farm's not pretty. The farm is not pretty. This is when I harvest flowers, not rows of beautiful flowers here. It's not a pretty place. I'm taking the pretty and passing it on. So although I don't get to enjoy them, I get to enjoy the fact that other people get to enjoy their beauty. All right, so I don't know, I have no idea how long this video was, but I'll give you guys a little bit of an update on the Ranunculus. I've got a bunny rabbit. I assume it's a bunny rabbit, is eating. I probably lost 50 of them out of the 1,200 or so that are in there. I was watering this morning and I added a little bit of the compost around the plants and watered them in just in case that soil wasn't up to snuff. So I wanted to make sure they had the nutrients they needed. So I watered them in, and as I was watering them in, I saw empty holes where Ranunculus used to be. But other than that, they look good. They turned a little bit yellow because they were dry. I needed to water them. But other than that, they recovered. I watered last night and did that compost last night. They look much better this morning, much happier, and we are expecting some rain on Sunday. So I don't have any drip system set up to them. But again, we are experiencing a little bit of a drought this spring so far. But on Sunday, we are expecting a 90% chance of rain. So anyway, I am gonna go get ready and bring these to my grandmama, and I'm so excited because she'll send me pictures and keep me, but I think by the end of the day, inside of a house, these might be fully opened up. So Veda has the first, they look so tiny because there's, you know how it looks. We're gonna go bring them to grandma. Let's go.
You brought your beautiful flower.
I did.
God, what'd you bring? What are they?
They're my first flowers of the year.
Oh, are these the daffodils?
Yeah.
Aww.
They're gonna open up. Probably by the end of the day you'll have some opened.
Well, I'll get my vase.
So my grandmother ended up sending me a picture this morning of what the daffodils had done overnight, and they're all fully in bloom. She loves them. I'm so excited. So there were, like I said, a lot more daffodils ready to pull. So this morning I harvested another few dozen. And what do? I have enough flowers for a bouquet, but not enough for all of my CSA members. So what I do, and what I find works best for me, is I go in the order in which people signed up for the CSA. So I reach out to the first customer, say I only have enough for 2 CSA bouquets, which is what happens early on in the season when stuff just starts to come out. 2-3 weeks from now, I'll have more than enough, and I might even be able to do a bouquet bar. But right now, the very first blooms of the season, I don't have enough for my entire CSA membership. So what I do is I reach out, say I have 2 bouquets available, I'll reach out to the first 2 people who signed up and say, here's what I have, would you guys like a bouquet this week? And if they say yes, great, we make arrangements, they come pick it up, I drop it off, whatever it is. And then if they say no, I reach out to the 3rd person or maybe the 4th person, and I go down the list. And then next time, say next Friday, I've got another couple bouquets available. I'll start with the 4th or the 5th person, depending on where it falls. That way I'm just reaching out to the CSA members down a list. And then eventually, when we get into the season, remember, it's early April. I don't even think I had bouquets at this time last year. That said, I did reach out to my first person to sign up. She was also a member last year. She actually bought 2. Her daughter purchases the memberships for her. So this is what I'm bringing her right now. And yeah, it doesn't look like much right now, but you saw what happened to my grandmother's bouquet overnight. By tomorrow morning, these are gonna be in bloom. This is 20 stems of narcissus, 3 sprigs of pussy willow, and then this is the sensitive fern that I harvest from down by my pond. I'm going to go, this is one that I make a delivery for, so I'm gonna go deliver this beauty to her. And then I think by tomorrow morning I'll have enough for 3 more bouquets. I'll reach out to more customers and down the line and so on and so forth. I just wanted to let you guys know how it works when I don't have enough to sustain my entire CSA for that week, especially in the early season. So it's worked for me in the past, and that's what I'm doing this year. So far so good. Okay, I'm back. So it's actually been 48 hours since I spotted that first cracked daffodil, and I have been harvesting like a crazy person. I have these. So I have all of these currently in my refrigerator, which is my cooler, again, for this year. I know it was on my biggest mistakes of 2020, but I don't have the funds right now to get a cooler. So I have all of these beautiful flowers. I'll be reaching out to more of my CSA members, but I have a feeling that they're gonna pass. They're all waiting for the peonies and the fancy daffs, and then later on in the spring we'll have hopefully the ranunculus, the anemones, the snapdragons. They're all waiting for those particular flowers. So when I get some refusals for my CSA, then I'll open it up to the general public and say, here's what I have available, and I'll also be adding the fillers of the pussy willows and the ferns. I wanted to give you guys a couple of details on the actual daffodils themselves. So last year they were much shorter than this. I'm actually super happy with the progress that they've made. These are year 2 daffodils, and they're averaging between 9 and 14 inches, and that's a big improvement from last year where I averaged between 6 and 10. Even the white ones, which were particularly short last year, they were mostly 6 inches, are upwards of 10 inches this year. I'm super excited about them. The yellow ones were the tallest last year, so these are like the 14. Actually, I want to measure. There were a couple that I pulled this morning that might be more than 14 inches tall, but these white ones, they're white with a yellow center. Really cute. But you know, these are just standard daffodils. These are the ones that people have growing in their yard. They're not the fancy double daffs, but these are the ones that bloom first for me, and I love them. People love to see them. These are the ones that you see at the grocery store. My grandmother called it a bowl full of sunshine on her counter. She was so happy with them. So if you're growing first year daffodils and you're nervous because they're on the 6 to 8 inch side, don't worry. In years to come, they should get longer for you. I'm gonna measure this one. This one looks insane. It's like crazy. And there's a bunch of them like this. There's like 4 in this bucket alone that are that tall. But then look at the difference. Like, they range. There's a difference between, you know, 2 or 3 inches in height. So I keep these in my refrigerator. My refrigerator is about between 38 and 42 degrees. You know, you can set it like that. So that's what I do with these babies. And actually, they'll stay closed in the refrigerator for several days. I've held them for as long as a week before taking them out, and then they'll open up. And sometimes they will open up in the refrigerator. But here are a couple that I picked. They're the 48-hour ones. So look at the bowl of sunshine. Hi. I think I need a yellow sweatshirt. I do. I need a yellow sweatshirt. All right, I just wanted to pop back on here and let you guys know that information, and we'll see you soon. Apparently, my battery died at some point whilst I was planting this row of ranunculus. Or I paused the video, sat on the side, drinking a lemonade, and called my purple minions in to finish the job. You'll never know.